Good afternoon, good people. Um, it becomes tiresome sometimes making really long posts or writing really long posts or commenting to people who say that I'm hating on Steph Curry. So I decided to take to modern technology and make a video so people can see my expression and know that it's just not this dude that's sitting behind the keyboard hating on this incredible jump shooter. Um, Max Kellerman hit me with a really good quote this morning on First Take, and I took to notes so I could get it correct, quote him correctly. And I quote, Steph Curry uniquely adapted to take advantage of the modern game. That's very accurate. Um, I'm all over the place. I got a couple of bullet points, and I didn't take down everything I wanted to say, but uh, he has a specific skill, man, of just shooting jump shots. Um, but when I say he's overrated, it's not overrated like he's an overrated player. He's not the biggest, he's not the strongest, he's not the fastest, he's not the most athletic. He has that specific skill. You know, he comes out before the game, he dribbles two basketballs. We know he can shoot from the half court. We know he can shoot from the parking lot. We know he can shoot from up the street. He's a sniper, man. Nobody's knocking that. And it's incredibly difficult to stop. As we can see, he shoots often and he shoots with accuracy. Um, but that's about all really that I see from this dude. You know what I mean? And um, the privilege thing, that never even entered my mind. I never thought about Dale Curry, his dad, playing in the NBA and making money and, raising the family, and the sons come up and beautiful family and his structure. And I never even thought about any of that. A lot of guys grew up came in the NBA. They didn't have a father in the house, and them going into the NBA was their way of supporting their family. And I don't knock that. I respect that. But that's not taking anything away from them or knocking Steph Curry because he had money coming up. I never saw that. I don't even understand the whole light skin thing. I'm light skinned, but that's another argument for another day. Um, one of my arguments, and many arguments related to this dude, one of my arguments was that the love that people have for this guy is not so much for his basketball skills. It's because of his overall life. He has a wife and not a baby mama. He has children with one woman and not multiple women. He's don't have baby mamas. He don't have a lot of drama associated with him. He don't have 59,000 tattoos. And he's a Christian, and he openly talks about Jesus. Those things, there's nothing wrong with any of that. That's admirable. That's respectable. That has nothing to do with his basketball game. I also pointed out that in the finals, in both finals appearances, he stunk up the joint. He's not a clutch shooter. They're not putting the ball in his hand and moving everybody out the way and isolating, and he's hitting that last. It's none of that. The way the Golden State Warriors are designed is for them to shoot 1,000 threes per person and jump up way high and be 125 to 75, and then now we can sit them in the fourth quarter. And I don't know. It's just odd to me. I don't understand where all of the slurping for this guy comes from. Um, Stephen A. Smith mentioned something about Iverson and why Iverson didn't receive the same type of love, because people didn't, they felt for him, man. You know what I'm saying? Just everything that was coming at him, everything that came at him, people was like, man, I wouldn't want to be like that dude. But everybody would want to be like Steph Curry, because of the type of life that he leads and all, that type of nonsense. Where people are jealous of him. I'm not jealous of this brother. I don't know about what other NBA players feel. I don't understand why you would be an NBA player and be jealous of this guy. There's a lot of people that don't have rings, but they're all getting money. They're all getting paid. The average NBA player sitting down at the other end of the bench still makes more money than me. So, it's a blessing. Finally, um, I believe that people hate LeBron more than they love Steph Curry. I think it's just easier to hate LeBron because you hate him. And I'm going to go on record as saying that I didn't like that guy for a long time either. I didn't like Kobe for a long time either. What it took for me was when Kobe lost in 2003 to the San Antonio Spurs, and he was sitting on the bench crying. And then that summer he made that Adidas commercial where he started pumping iron and lifting weights, and I'm coming back next year. That's when I was like, man, he humbled himself. Same thing had to happen to LeBron. LeBron got slapped in 2007 against the San Antonio Spurs and continued to play further on into his career. And then they got beat up by Boston in 2009. And then dude was like, man, look, if I'm ever going to be, considered one of the greats, I'm going to have to get a ring. I'm probably going to have to get up out of here. He made a decision. The way his execution, of getting on TV and saying, I'm taking my talents to South Beach was probably not the greatest decision or the greatest way to execute it. But, I respected the move. Got his rings, came back to the crib, got another ring there. In my eyes, my man got the same amount of rings as Larry Bird. Unfortunately, it kind of boils down to rings. Another overrated thing, very last overrated thing I said about the Golden State Warriors is that, and this is how I started to not like Steph Curry or the Golden State Warriors in general. When they won their one lone championship in 40 years, 2 years ago, immediately after they won, media and slurping artists ran around and started calling these dudes the next dynasty. And he's the greatest shooter. And Steph Curry is the best player. And he ain't even the best player on this team. Before Kevin Durant got there, he wasn't the best player on this team. I believe Klay Thompson is a better overall player than dude. But that's my opinion. But it also comes from watching them play. I also know that Klay Thompson plays defense and Steph doesn't, barely. The LeBron comparison really doesn't have anything to do with this argument. I was just mentioning him because they seem to be at the top of the mountain, the NBA elite. But what LeBron, what people do, or what they're saying now as far as him hating on this guy because he's privileged and these types of other things or whatever, the dude had I can't remember exactly the number. I want to say it's like an $80 million, $100 million contract from Nike before he even dribbled a basketball. LeBron did at 18. And the guy has game. We know. You know what I'm saying? He didn't call himself the king. The media did that. And maybe he should not have tried to live up to it. But he's done what he's done with it. As far as Steph Curry is concerned, this side of me is saying I want to see Golden State lose every year for the next 5 years. And then that'll prove my theory that these dudes are mad overrated. That jump shot shooting team that won the championship 2 years ago, not going to say it was a flash in the pan, but when people say they changed the game, they did change the game. Everybody's a copycat league. Everybody wanted to start shooting 16,000 3-pointers per game. But if they win the next 3 or 4 years or whatever, then they would be justified. I can say, yeah, then it'll be this argument about whether Kevin Durant made a difference or whatever. I give you my conspiracy theory on Kevin Durant real briefly also. And I don't think, and what that is I don't think that dude was as injured as the team led us to believe. He may have been injured, but I think he could have came back. I think they were saving this dude. They want him at 100% before he comes to the playoffs and to the finals. And if they cannot use this dude the last however many games of the season, regular season, and they went on that run, people saying, well, they're good without him. And if they can make it throughout the playoffs without this dude, and then just bring him in the finals, because they need him for LeBron. I don't understand why people keep, minimizing this dude. His numbers speak for you. Numbers don't lie. You cannot argue against numbers. Like I will give credit to Steph Curry about this thing. Steph Curry, 3-point percentage-wise, is better than Reggie Miller. It's better than Larry Bird. It's better than Ray Allen. It's better than Peja Stojakovic. I have to give credit where credit is due. That's that one particular skill that he has. But if you take the screens and the picks away from that dude and play him one-on-one and bring back hand checking where you can put some defense on that fool, that dude would be Keon Dooling. Peace.